So I was really tired of hearing about the same fall movies that everyone watches every year. So I decided to find a new one that I hadn't heard of at all. It has the perfect fall setting and it deals with some really complex issues. Far From Heaven is a movie from 2002 and is set in a upper middle class suburb in the 1950s in fall. The movie stars Julianne Moore as Kathy, Dennis Quaid as her husband Frank, and Dennis Haysbert as Raymond, her gardener.
Can you afford not to be in good hands?
The movie opens with a zoomed out shot of the suburb and proceeds to zoom in on Kathy arriving home from the grocery store. Wait, I know that's not Viola Davis coming out to help with groceries in a maid uniform. Miss Viola, I should have never done the help. Davis? I digress. Anyways, Kathy appears to be the traditional 1950s housewife who tends to the children and the home while Frank is away at work at an advertising agency. That night, they're supposed to go to a gathering that her friend is having, but she hasn't heard from Frank all day. Finally, Frank calls her from jail, and Kathy has to miss the gathering so that she can go pick him up from jail. It's really not clear as to why he was arrested, but apparently it was some big misunderstanding, and they don't really give us any explanation at that point. The next day, or some next day, Kathy has over a journalist and a photographer because she's having an article written about her and her husband as being basically the perfect couple and her being the perfect traditional housewife. As they're talking, Kathy is startled by a black man who is in her backyard. So she goes out to her backyard to see what's going on. The man is Raymond, and he informs her that she is the son of her gardener who had just recently passed away and that he is going to be taking over and be her gardener now. So on another night, Kaki and the kids are waiting up for Frank again, and this really does seem to be a common occurrence. Being the good wife that she is, Kathy decides to take him dinner at his office. And when she shows up at his office, she discovers that he was keeping a huge secret. Even after discovering the secret, Kathy still tries to be the obedient and understanding housewife. Meanwhile, Kathy and Raymond are getting pretty friendly with each other, but even with them having a pleasant and innocent conversation, is causing some stares and whispers. And of course, at this time in the 1950s, people had no problem expressing their racial ideology. Everything comes to a head in the end, a pretty dramatic ending, I must say. And you have to watch the movie to see how everything plays out. Now, I'll tell you what I liked and what I did not like about the movie. So, the main thing that I liked about the movie is the visuals. It is perfectly set in the fall. There is one scene where it is snowing, but it's literally like for less than a minute. The movie uses beautiful, rich tones to really highlight the fall season, and color is used to tell the story as well. So, in the beginning of the movie, the colors are really vibrant, they're really warm and rich, but there are certain points towards, parts of the movie where it's conflicts and a lot of drama where there's more cool tones, and you see it in one part where Kathy has on a gray suit. So I really love the use of color and how they use it to tell a story, and it really is just a beautiful movie. I also just like the actual story and how everything played out. Like, it's a really dramatic movie with some heavy topics, a layer on top of a beautiful fall setting. Now, a couple things I didn't like. I did not like how short the scenes were. It felt like after every scene, it left me wanting more. It left me wanting them to say more and do more and I just wanted more in each scene. And it did make the film feel pretty short. Like, honestly, I usually complain about movies being too long. I think this is probably one of the only movies I really complained about that I felt like was really short or it just felt short. And I do think it was a stylistic decision on their part, the director's part. And to kind of piggyback off me wishing that the movie was longer, I also wish that it was longer because I just really felt like they didn't dig deep enough into some of the topics, like the husband's secret and then the racial disparities that the Black people in the suburb experience. I really felt like they only scratched the surface and they really should have went more deep. It just really just felt so surface level. Yeah, I wanted more depth. Like, if you're gonna deal with the heavy topic, like, you gotta go a little bit more deeper, like, give it some more time, to explore the topics that you are presenting in the movie. Like, I just wanted it to be more fleshed out, basically. And honestly, I did not like Julianne Moore as the main character. She felt very one-dimensional, and I don't know if it was just them trying to give off that Stepford wife, fembot type of thing. I don't know if that is what they were going for with her character, but she is kind of presented as someone who is progressive and kind of goes against the grain as far as how she thinks about Black people.
My husband and I have always believed in equal rights for the Negro.
But she's also balancing that with this traditional housewife role very seamlessly. So I just felt like they could have gave her character a lot more depth. She just felt so one-dimensional. So like I said, I don't know if it was just how they were trying to have her come off as like this Stepford wife, or if Julianne Moore just didn't put much effort into the character. And I did not feel like she had any chemistry with Raymond. Like, none. Zero chemistry. Even though they were mostly friendly, you knew there was supposed to be something else energetically going on between them, and I didn't really feel that between them. Now, I know that sounds like a lot of dislikes. I am just a pretty critical person, so I do think the movie is definitely worth watching. And for whatever it's worth, it does have an 87% rating on the tomato meter on Rotten Tomatoes. So for whatever that's worth, even though I half the time I don't even agree with the ratings on there. Like, something could have high ratings and I think it should have really low ratings. So, but with this one, honestly, I would have expected it to be maybe 67, 68, something like that. Yeah. But I do think it's worth a watch though. But if you do decide to watch the movie or if you have watched the movie, let me know what you think about it. And also let me know for the fall season, do you normally like cozy movies, horror and thriller movies, or like historical dramas? Like, what are your favorite type of fall movies to watch? Let me know. And that's all I have. Bye.